Here, before we get into it though, like, who is this guy?
Dude,
We got this guy. We got David Alvarez in the house. Thank you for coming on, buddy.
Thank you, buddy.
I found it on the street.
All right, so off the jump.
Stop it.
I want to break the ice here with a question. So, congratulations on all the recent success.
That's
on
a
your YouTube.
statement. You're starting with the statement.
I'm going to the question.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to break the ice with the
I'm
question.
going to the question. So, was YouTube always the plan?
Oh wow.
No, I think I was like I came into YouTube like around 2012.
Okay.
But I was going to school to be a doctor.
What?
At Cal State Long Beach. Yeah, I wanted to be a pediatrician. I love kids.
Okay.
Not like that.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
get
yeah,
me canceled,
no.
dude.
Dude,
I
we're
see
doing
you.
great so far.
I see your
We're doing great so far.
Success,
Actually, when I
success.
first met him, he asked if I had any kids, and I was like, no, and he seemed really bummed about it. But
I feel like you'd make a great dad.
oh, dude, yeah, that's why I just go take some sometimes. Just pick a few up and try it out.
okay,
Yeah,
nice.
it's a lot easier than you'd think.
I think this is my time to leave.
Side tangent, but when I'm at Disneyland with my girlfriend,
Yeah.
I go like this to the kids, and I'm like,
Dude,
and then Grace is like, "Stop! You're gonna freak people out."
No, it is so true. I'm like, I think I got it from my dad, but like growing up, my dad was just always, he's so good with kids. And like if we were out and about, there was like a little kid in a shopping cart, he'd always like wave or something like that.
Yeah.
And I ended up picking it up. And I realized if I'm with my girlfriend, it's chill. If I'm by myself, it's not. That's what I've
It's
come to
weird,
realize.
yeah.
But with her, I can be like, oh, so cute. But if I'm just standing on
I don't
light,
have
I'm like,
that problem.
hi. Yeah, you don't like kids?
The babies just stare at me or follow me.
Oh, okay.
Yo, so
I don't have
Kristen
that
does
problem.
one
I
of
hate
these.
kids.
Yeah, no, I do love kids,
we
but
just met this guy the other day at church. He was a family, but this guy's like built. He's a jacked dad.
Yeah.
And
He's
I forgot
jacked for
I
Jesus.
forgot how the conversation came up, but he was basically like, he's like, yeah, I'm getting kind of sick of going to the park with my kids because he's like, my kids just go in and he's like, I don't like to. He's like, I don't like to. I don't like to sit, so I just stand there. And he's like, everyone always calls the cops on me
Oh my
for
god!
thinking that like I'm just someone staring at the
Terrible.
kids. He's like, I hate going to the park. I always get the cops called on me.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I think that's so terrible.
Yeah.
Though.
Dude,
I
that
know.
guy's-
Why
actually a
can't a
good
grown
dad.
man just stare at kids at a park? I don't get what's so wrong
Well,
with
no,
that.
his own kids watching them.
Yeah, that is a good TikTok idea though. Like
Yeah.
that's just like a series.
Yeah.
See how long I'm a dad. See how long it's gonna take
That
me to
is
get the
true.
cops called on.
Yeah.
I'd watch
you
that.
just you go to the park, you look a little weird, and people are like, "Yeah, this guy looks shady. Let me just call the cops."
Dude, you already look
Actually-
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of babies, though, my sister, she was like sleeping, and in the middle of the night, a helicopter shone on her house, and apparently some lady had a 3-month-old baby and was running with it, and
Whoa.
like took the baby
On top of a roof.
Oh, so that's
and,
a
like, was
real
running
story.
underneath the things.
That's
yeah. So
someone
it's not
took a
just
baby.
you
Okay.
know, some people
Yeah,
take
literally.
children all the
So
time.
sidebar from the kidnapping and tiptoeing the pedophilia.
Yeah,
Let's get back
good
to
point.
the doctor.
Yeah.
YouTube,
Yeah,
2012,
2012.
Yeah.
pediatrician. There we go.
So yeah, I always thought like I kind of like being the funny guy in class, and you know I wouldn't necessarily say I was the funny one, but I made myself laugh.
You know,
Right.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
But I knew a bunch of YouTubers at the time, and I was like, dude, I would love to like write for you. Like they were doing a lot of sketch comedy back
Yeah.
then. So I was like, hey, let me just write something for you guys. And then I wrote something for my roommate, George, at the he's my roommate now, but at the time he was just like the cool YouTube guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, let me write you this sketch. And I wrote him, the idea was I pitched him. I was at a party and I was like, dude, what if Barnes and Noble had a drive-through? And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, just imagine going up like, hey, I'm looking for the book with the one with the guy. It was like stupid, but
yeah.
he's like, that's really funny. You should write it.
I actually do need a drive-through.
Didn't end up writing it, but I wrote him something else. But he was like right away super supportive, and he was like, you should start your own YouTube channel.
Oh,
You
sweet.
would kill. So I used all my FAFSA money that semester. It was $2,500, and I bought like a laptop to edit the videos, a camera, I think a couple lights, and yeah. And then I always saw it as like a stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
So like to answer your question, like was YouTube the goal? I think at the time, a lot of people back then would be like, hey, you know what? I want to be an actor. I want to be a director. I want to be a writer. I'm going to use YouTube as a platform. And I feel like that was like my goal too, at least. For me, in the beginning, it was like, I just want to write and be funny.
Right.
And finally get that, recognition. I'm like, David's a pretty funny dude.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten it, but it's coming. Yeah, that's, once I started like full time with YouTube, I was like, yeah, I want to get into shows and
Right.
movies. But then like got to the point where I realized that I love being behind the camera. Even being a camera guy, and just putting out a vision and idea. And then I realized I was like, you know what? I don't want to do like traditional media.
Yeah.
I just want to stick to YouTube. So I'm going to focus on that. So in the end, it did become the goal.
Right.
But in the beginning, it wasn't. It was like more like a stepping stone. I feel like back in the day, a lot of people did that.
Okay.
How long? So like, how long did it take before you were able to just do that? Like, and what was like the working ratio of like having to do whatever job to get by compared to how much you were filming with YouTube and stuff?
Well, in the beginning, I wasn't like I said, I knew a bunch of YouTubers.
Sure. Yeah.
So I was working for them or like under them. So
Okay.
like I remember, there was like a group of guys that I would film a lot with, like Jared Munoz, Super Ego, Josh Leva. Josh actually hired me to write sketches for him. $50 a sketch.
Nice.
And at the time I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's a day a week.
Yeah.
But dude, I was, I would go over his house. We would spend all day writing the sketch, honestly fucking around.
Yeah.
But you find, it's part of the process.
Yeah, sure.
And then we would film it. I would kind of like, help him direct it. I was always the camera guy. So I was probably like working like 40 hours for $50. So not that good.
Yeah. The ratio's a little off for sure.
But you were
for
getting
sure.
experience.
Yeah.
And also
You were
confidence.
basically
in the
interning,
craft.
if you think about
Yeah.
it.
I was.
Yeah. Like if you're interning at a hedge fund, but it was YouTube at some guy's
exactly.
house.
I remember one time, like I was killing it for the guy. I remember like we doubled his like subscriber count.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think this is a good time to ask
Hey
for
man,
a raise.
75.
And then he was like, I was like, and he brought it up actually. He was like, hey man, you want to be in the sketch? It's probably going to take like 4 hours.
Right.
So they'd be down, but they'd be like, sweet,
Yeah.
I have a sketch idea too. Do you want to film that after?
Right.
So then like everyone would kind of help everyone. So, and then I was doing my own thing. And then I started getting some success.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I remember when I finally hit like 2K a month or something, I remember thinking like, damn, I'll give my parents $1,000 and I can move out, live off $1,000. I'm still to this day super frugal, so
Right.
I don't really spend a lot. I got a Honda Clarity out there.
Hell
I
yeah.
bought off my brother.
Nice.
Because your vision is clear, baby.
Clear, baby.
Yeah.
I remember like I think around there was a point where like I was trying to be a doctor and I was doing YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was like a B+ student and then became a B minus.
Yeah.
C.
Right.
And then when I got my first D, I was like, okay.
Can you pass the C as a doctor?
Yeah, C's get degrees, baby. It doesn't matter what.
That's just wild though. If your doctor's going to surgery, he's like, yeah, I was a C student myself. And you're like, wait, what?
Dude, I would have been the best doctor because I would have schmoozed off another doctor.
Yeah.
I would have been like, yo, this kid over here has got these bumps. What are
Yeah.
they? You're like, I think they're probably. I'm like, that's what I'm gonna tell them.
You'd be a team project doctor. You 100% would come in after the surgery and be like, it went great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
like I saw the whole thing.
So the whole thing, guys.
I think it went well.
With sketches and stuff like that. So do you have siblings?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Are you the oldest, middle, youngest?
I'm the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Brothers or sisters?
All brothers. We lost 2 sisters
Oh man.
in my mom's belly. So way to bring that up. Way to make this really sad, bro.
Yeah. That's
Damn
no.
it.
Yeah. No. I,
You'll
yeah.
learn it one day.
So it's 3 boys then?
No, so there's 5 of us all together.
5. Wow.
So I'm the middle
okay.
one. There's 2
Okay.
older. They're pretty fucking old.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
okay.
pretty fucking old.
Yeah.
I'm 32. I think my older brother's
Whoa.
like 46, and
Okay.
then the other one's 38.
Okay, that's a big difference.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so old. Yeah.
Yeah.
no, I'm kidding. Yeah.
So-
So did you guys like? Did you ever think of like? Cause you already give me the vibe when we're joking around and stuff. Like, did you ever think of stand up or anything like that? Like, did you do like bits with your brothers and stuff, or was it completely separate? Like you said, you like to be screwing around in class.
Well, I mean,
and
I
stuff.
started the YouTube channel with my brothers.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it was
cool,
actually
cool.
called Alpha Monkeys because we just were like, we should think of a name and then like something in front of it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Super cringe now that I think about it, but it was cool
I
back
know,
in
that's
the
like
day.
taking like something like busy and body and putting
Yeah.
it
Putting it
together.
together.
Because we were just, my dad used to call us like little chunguitos, like because we were just jumping up and down. And
Yeah.
like, so we said Alpha Monkeys, DMC, David, Max, and Carlos.
Oh yeah.
And then Carlos pissed us off, so we just did David, Max, and Company. And then Max pissed me off, and then I
I'm
was
gonna
like,
get
I'm
abs
just
by the
doing
end of this.
this.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. I really love that, like you really highlight collaboration and like working together as a team with people. Like,
Oh, yeah.
how
community.
important do you think that is? Like when you're open to a new situation or a new gift that you might want to like step into, and how do you kind of like how did you handle that in a way that like made every party feel really supported?
Yeah, I think collaboration was is probably one of the biggest keys in success in general, because I mean, at least in like the type of work I've done, you know, I've been around people that really want to like, you know, lead the team, and like they're either, you know, there's egos involved, and you can definitely tell, you know, there's like bigger following and this and that, and they might not want to hear about, you know, some other people's opinions and stuff. But, you know, for example, even me, like I would come around these big guys, and I can tell sometimes some people would be like, who the fuck is this guy giving this idea?
Right.
And, you know, it's true. Maybe my idea was bad at the time, but I was always pretty vocal, because I would always,
That's good.
you know, be like, I was always myself.
Right.
So in any kind of group of people, like we just met, we like started joking around
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, I think I learned that from my friend Ian in high school, because he was like just always himself regardless.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to take, you know, I'm not going to change myself regardless of who I'm around. So,
Right.
so even around these like bigger people, like I was just kind of myself, giving ideas here and there. And like, I could sometimes like, you know, I would feel a little, you know, insulted when like, you can tell like, shut up.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have good ideas. And then, you know, but then I would see my friends and be like, yo, that was a pretty good idea. He should have done that probably.
Yeah.
So I think I always kind of realize, you know, I always want to stick that mentality of like being able to work with people, getting people's ideas. You know, I went to an all guys school. I had all brothers growing up. So that camaraderie and like, you know, working with other people has always
Right.
been there. So you just, even then, like I feel like most of my success, a lot of it is like because I collaborate with people, even to this day. You know, I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? How can we make this better? You know, it's a big team effort, and I think that's super, super important, because that whole saying like two heads are better than one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
100%. Like even when I'm like going off on ideas, I'll like look at even like my girlfriend who's like not super involved in the space. I'm like, hey babe, I'm gonna bounce off ideas with you right now, and you whatever you have, like say it out, like just blurt it out, because you know you might not have like the best idea, but that idea is gonna inspire me to come. I'm like, oh, actually, you know what would be good, but you know, babe, your ideas are good. They stand alone.
That's right. That's
But,
right.
You know,
No,
I
it's
think a
powerful.
lot of inspiration comes from like different people. So,
Right.
you know, why not, you know, instead of like having that ego of being like, I came up with this idea, like it was all me. Like, I'd rather see a finished product and be like, yo, we fucking did that, guys,
Yeah.
right?
Right,
Yeah, yeah,
Because it's
yeah.
better to
Right.
celebrate with a bunch of people and go
100%.
like,
Yeah.
dude, guys, look at this, 1 million views, we did it, versus like, you guys see this fucking video I did,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I feel like it helps create the idea, even for fans too, of a family. Like it's so much easier for me to get behind a group of people. And
Yeah.
as a fan, like when I listen to podcasts or people I love, it's like I typically look back on what I enjoy, and it's like I love bands and I love stand-up comedians, but I also love stand-up comedians that are known to be kind of like a knit group and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like you know, that's always been my bread and butter. And I also just see, it was kind of like you were saying, typically when one person is kind of like, oh, I did all this is all mine, it's like you see like the growth starts to stop. Like you can see it, you can visually see it in the product and everything. I mean, I think Mr. Beast is a great example. Like that dude is insane, and he's like always had a group. It's always been his crew. You know what I
100%.
mean? And this is coming from someone, I'm not too terribly informed in the YouTube world or anything like that. It's just like, just from being just a perspective outside of things, I take notice of these things, of these people that collab. It's with people that are quote unquote always try to be the dumbest person in the room. Like if you're stuck on like, oh, I want to be the smartest, it's like, if you always want to be the big fish, what are you ever gonna learn? Like where's your progress? Where does that come from?
Well, we said this in a previous episode. It's almost nearly impossible to build something like that by yourself.
Yeah, and you
Right?
can't.
You need a team of people at the end of the day. It's like you're gonna stress yourself out if you're trying to do so many roles at once.
Yeah.
You know, why not grow with a community?
Well, I think entrepreneurs talk about that with taking that step, it's like, oh, your first million getting yourself. But if you want to take it to, generational wealth and scale it up, I mean, you need a team. You need to always,
I do love hearing like how your story is you started and you needed the help of others, but you weren't afraid to get that no back. And now as someone in a position to really help other people, you've built these foundations of I understand where you're coming from. And I think that's a huge blessing, because when you're open to that no, it's like you start recognizing patterns and things that you want to shift in that specific industry. And that's what true leadership is. And I definitely see that through the way you work, with my brother, all the other of the friend group. It's like you really honor each person and what they carry, and then they do the same for you. And that builds such a, I don't know, it's a family, but you build success that way. You know,
100%.
and I think that's a really cool thing, that your story, like to hear where it came from to now who you are.
And you keep people humble because you pay the people who work for you $50 for
I
40
do.
hours too, right? Yeah, you're like, hey, that's where I started.
25, okay?
All of them.
Yeah.
25.
So
So this is where I started. I just like to keep a system. Look how I turned out.
I'm giving you 55. I started at 50.
you started at 50, you got to work your way up.
You gotta work your way up.
I'll give you a smoothie with it,
So with your videos,
Yeah.
are a lot of them scripted, or do you just wing it? And when you walk into your studio, do you have like a little mental preparation, or you're just like, I'm gonna walk in, I'm gonna gun it, let's go?
I think I'm one of the most successful procrastinators alive.
Oh man.
So, but no, I still prepared. For example, so my videos are essentially not scripted in the sense where, it's not a sketch.
Right.
But it is a video of you want to entertain people. So a lot of the times, when I first started, for example, the dating videos where there's 6 guys behind a curtain and stuff, I'd be just hit to the bachelor, hey, we're going to ask these guys these questions. It's going to be fun. Let's do it. And sometimes you can see people really shine in that moment of coming up with an answer right away. But then, for me, I ask a lot of people that, friends, friends of friends to be in these videos. So sometimes my friends that are comedians that are behind the curtain, they'll be able to give out a really great answer. And everyone on set is laughing and we're like, oh my God, let's do it. And then I'm like, all right, contestant number 2, blah, blah, blah. What do you think? And then, you can tell that they're freezing up and they're like, oh man, my answer's not going to be that good. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if I can top that. So you can see how they're kind of personally kind of crumbling a little bit on set. And I make sure that the environment, when we're doing these videos, is hey, we can take it back if you stumble upon your words.
Yeah.
If you want to say something differently, if you say something, you realize that might get you canceled.
Right.
Let's cut it out because, people slip up, it's it's, you just, especially these people that are filming for me for free, I want to make sure they have fun. So what I do now is I'll tell the guys or the girls, the contestants, only for some videos, because some stuff is hey, this is just a conversation between people, let's see where this goes.
Right.
But some of these questions, especially for the blind dating videos, I'm hey guys, maybe the night before, the day before, I'm hey guys, these are the 6 questions we're gonna ask. Let me know what your answers are, and if you don't know anything, maybe I can have I can help, and me and my team can help come up with an answer. We always say look, I'm never gonna give you this line and be hey, this is gonna be so clippable. Trust me, because I'm hey, at the end of the day, I always say I'm my own HR essentially.
Yeah.
I do have my obviously other people, but I'm I never want to make people say anything because I don't want them to be
right.
David made me say that.
Yeah.
I'm no, you know what? Say whatever you want. But I will tell you, just from my personal experience, hey, this might not hit the way you think it is, or hey, this is maybe an overshare. It might, some people might say something or pitch an idea hey, I want to say this, and I'm honestly, I think the comments might come after you if you say something like that. You can say it, and I'll say you can still say it.
Yeah,
but I don't know if you want to say
right.
Just giving you the,
Yeah. So I don't want to, I would hate for some people to come on set and then realize oh, I'm not funny. I don't think so if I give them some time to prepare, at least for some questions.
Sure.
I won't if you guys were going to come on, I wouldn't be hey, we're going to ask, describe your perfect date. because like I feel like you could probably answer that on the spot. But if it's like, hey, you know, using the title of a movie describe dating you, you know, I'm like, you might be like, fuck, a movie.
Yeah.
All the movies just erase from your head.
Yeah. You're like daddy daycare. I think.
We're stuck on this topic today. We really are.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Parent Trap.
Yeah. Oh man. Damn. Now I'm starting to think of all these good movies. Iron Giant.
That's a good
So
one.
is there a video that you did or the live shows? Because you do a lot of live shows now. Or do you get pretty like nervous doing those live shows or a video where you're like, yeah, we got to pull it together. We got to do this.
Also, I'd like to go on that. Like,
Yes.
when was the moment that you decided to start the live shows from just making it from YouTube?
Yeah,
Experience.
so
And don't hate me. I'm sorry I haven't been to the last two.
I know, dude. I mean, like, there's one coming up May 10th,
Whoa.
and it's gonna be featured on Netflix as a joke festival.
Whoa.
cool.
Dude,
That's
congrats.
what I'm
That's
talking
awesome,
about.
man.
Cool.
High five.
Yeah.
I get to high five
They
in
asked
person.
us.
I was gonna join the class, but they stopped really quick, so I was like done
you
before.
you gotta be quicker than that.
You can't come to the live show if you can't clap.
Not the first I've been told that.
All right, go ahead, brother.
But yeah, actually, the live show. Actually, my Hunter, who's like now my buddy Hunter, who's my business partner now. We started a separate channel called Poppies together. He kind of had an idea for that, and he was like, "Hey, there's a video idea I want to do. It could maybe work as a live show." So we kind of collaborated that with along with our friend Scott Tweedy, who's the host for Australian Idol. And he's a DJ.
Legit.
Yeah, super cool guy.
There you go.
So they kind of essentially came to me and they're like, "Hey, we have this idea. What do you think about it?" And then we kind of discussed on how I think it might have been their idea, honestly, where they were like, "Hey, we could do this as a live show." And not that I like what I do is comfortable, but kind of like the stuff that I do, I kind of really honed in on. So doing something different does kind of scare me.
Yeah, well, you got to play the student all over again.
Yeah,
you gotta be like,
exactly.
how does this shit work all over again?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like, I get
live.
extra. It's live. I can't run it back.
Delete anything.
I was about to say, do you guys treat it like like a sitcom or something where you could run it, or you can't run it back? Period.
Well, it's like it's with a live audience, and I feel like if you run it back, you might lose audience.
And the authenticity of it all, and it starts, right,
especially
right,
if it's like a live dating show.
Right,
How
right,
real
right,
is
right.
this? You already kind of have that idea of like, is this even real?
right.
Because a lot of the time I
yeah.
have like my friends on that are
Yeah.
like other YouTubers that they're like, this isn't maybe real, but I want it.
Right, right.
We have people from the audience come up and
The
you know,
live show
kind
is
of-
a great idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome.
I mean, I'm always hoping people do find love. I always tell people, I'm like, hey,
That's what I was gonna ask too. From the blind dating, just sidebar thing, real quick. Have you had like, or let's check in on this couple that met last blind dating and stuff.
yeah,
like,
I mean, we've had a few success stories of people end up dating.
oh, sick.
A lot of people end up hooking up.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, which
figured.
is kind of so cool. I'm like, damn, you guys hooked up. Or
Yeah,
like this
yeah,
girl would be
yeah.
like, I actually hooked up with the guy, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's cool to know that like you're potentially the link between like a one night stand that led to a baby that led to like
That could
a
lead to
shotgun
you
wedding.
daycaring.
Yeah, that could lead to me standing in the park.
Getting
See, and
arrested.
that is
Yes.
6 degrees of separation right there.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Sorry, Kirsten.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fun.
Honestly,
I always tell people,
sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
I was
go
like, Kirsten's reactions are gonna get clipped.
please just zoom in on her the whole time.
Yeah.
Please continue.
All right, go for it.
Yeah, I always tell people like, hey, obviously, like the contestants or the bachelor and bachelorette, I'm like, hey, obviously we're here to create something super entertaining. I'm hoping you find someone, who you might be interested in. But at the end of the day, don't hate me if you don't. But if it happens, cool. I'm gonna hold this over your head forever.
Yeah.
I
You
did
found I did that shit.
Be like, I beg you owe me one.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna sponsor the wedding.
Yeah, exactly. Even our friend like Franny and Caleb, they didn't meet on my set, but they were in a video together, and I always like, look, maybe I wasn't the reason, like, but I'm like maybe 5%. Give me that.
But I'm
Yeah.
the reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I was like maybe
yeah.
give me 5, and they kind of go, sure, you get 5% of us being together.
Let's go.
So I have a question. Since you have so much creative control through like YouTube and stuff, like that's yours. You're not going through an agency or something to ask them if you can do something, or a producer or something like that. Has there ever been you know, the Netflix is a joke. That's huge. That's sick. I think, has there ever been like a part of you, or is there a part of you that wants to potentially do like a Chappelle show, a Key and Peele situation, like with a network and expand on that? Or would you want to just take that same approach with YouTube? Like, or would you ever want to go to a network and do a network show? Or
yeah, I think I'm gearing up to that point.
Yeah.
You know, like I said earlier, like I always now kind of like YouTube is the goal.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to
Yeah.
stay on YouTube. I love creating for the audience that I have,
Right.
the supporters, you know, the people that like come through and watch. I love creating for them, but I think I'm also at the point where like, I just want something. I want to like, I guess like scare myself a little bit, you know,
Yes.
put myself in a different position. Like
Challenge
they're like,
yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like the blind dating videos, like there's not essentially easy, but they're like, they don't excite me as much anymore,
Right.
to do, because I'm like, this is so locked in. Like we're going to kill it every single time. Sometimes when we do different series, like I just started a new series called The Menu.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, oh my God, is this going to work?
Right,
Are people
right,
gonna
right,
like
right.
this? It was
Yeah.
kind of exciting a little bit.
It's the
Think-
song you know how to play. The other stuff. It's like
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can sit down and do it over and over and over.
And like, I love doing them, don't get me wrong,
Right,
but
right.
there's something like I do hate that like being nervous part, but it also excites me a little bit.
Right.
So I think we're doing a lot more like series now where it's like The Menu, you know, like Sync Up or Drink Up, like these different types of shows that I want to keep creating on the channel. And then hopefully, like I have so many ideas that I would want to go to a network and be like, hey, I have like this Bachelor meets Love Island meets blah, blah, blank and blank.
Yeah.
I feel like I can do that. And I
Yeah.
do work with a lot of people that have been on reality shows that like,
Yeah.
they always go like, oh, dude, you're going to be a producer. Like,
Right. That's
you're
that's where
doing
my
the
head was
exact
at.
same
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
I kind of want to do that one day for
Yeah.
Like
sure.
I am a producer.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
because
like,
didn't
damn, bro.
and then
Yeah.
didn't Mr. Beast just partner with Amazon?
Yeah.
and
Dude,
basically
crazy.
he won the bid with Amazon because obviously all these other networks were bidding and offering to give Mr. Beast this, that. But he was saying that
Amazon got that Bezos money.
Well, no, the biggest difference was that one of the key agreements from Amazon was that they gave Mr. Beast full creative control over the series. And
why
it was
wouldn't
like,
you?
well, the thing is like he built his brand off
Right.
his ideas and his that, and he was saying like, I think that's one of the key reasons that he went with Amazon.
But dude, that's so frustrating to even think that that wasn't part of the deal for anyone else. If you're going to someone that has created themselves from the ground up, what makes you think you're going to be able to do what they do better than what they do just because you have the money? Like I've always thought that's so dumb when like, or like it crushes me. I get so fucking mad when it's like you see a killer director, a killer writer or something, and their next project comes out is dog shit because these people thought they could do what that person does better. It's like, no, the reason you hired this person is because they have a gift and they're good at what they do. Just let them do that.
Right,
like,
right.
get out of the way. Because odds
Right.
are it's like you're good with money, but you don't know the first thing about what they do. That's why they hire. Like,
Right.
it's like creatives hire accountants because they don't do that. Right. And then creatives create. That's their job. Let them do their job. It's like, yeah, no wonder I get very annoyed with that. So it's true because I get so annoyed. It's because it's like you just see.
Let it out, man.
No, it's true.
Let
man.
it out.
But it's like you've heard so many cases where and it's true when the final product is so disastrous and then you go to talk to creatives and they want nothing to do with it because it's like, yeah, I saw my baby get like ripped apart and stitched back together. It's like, why would I go? Like, I love stories like yours where you've built it from the ground up because it's like, yeah, you get that control. It's like you sure if something fails, it fails with you, but if something blows up, it blows up with you, and you have that.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't. It blows my mind that these companies are like, yeah, we want what you do, but we want to control it and tell you what to do. It's like, well, then you don't want what they do.
Yeah.
You-
It is
you
a
know?
funny thing though because it's kind of like when you're in a studio session or something.
Sorry, Randall.
And there's a random person
like
sitting in the room. It's a
Yeah.
good one. There's a random person sitting in the room. They'll be like, I was there, so I get a percentage of the song.
Right.
So I think a lot
Really?
of the time,
Oh yeah.
that happens a lot. And
Oh
so
my
like,
God.
Can I come to your next session?
yes, David, you can. You
Dude.
can come.
Sweet.
Have you ever looked on some songs though and like the writers list is like 15, 20 people
Yes.
long? Yeah.
But also like in that, I think when a company's coming and like I have this budget for you, they want to have a piece of like the creativity because it also leverage. They're giving something. They want something in return of them.
Yeah.
Like I produced it or I wrote it.
And there's also the
it doesn't
situation.
make it right or wrong, but it's just like a very
There's also the situation. I won't give specifics, but there's a situation where it's like, oh, you create like a hit song, hit project. It goes viral, it goes huge. You guys already made your agreements, and then after it goes big, like a year later, that person's like, no, I deserve more than what we signed off on.
Yeah.
And then they're like, if you don't agree to that, then I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I'm like, you agreed to this a year ago. We're on the same page. Why are you switching up like this?
Well, it's like a sidebar thing. That's why I think A24, as far as like in my world, as far as like the movie industry goes, is probably, I feel like the way they run things should be a blueprint for every company moving forward. Because A24 has done something so smart. When you see that logo pop up, you're immediately like, that's going to be something good.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they're like, we'll fund it. We're not touching anything. You guys do what you do. And we need to follow that system more. I feel like just across the board, let fund creatives and you're going to get amazing work. I'm telling you. Just all you do is give them the money, period.
And that's it.
Like,
I think, I mean, if like Mr. Beast wanted like to ask for help, then yeah, for sure. Like,
yes.
you know, if I was in his position, I'd be like, hey, how do you guys go normally about X, Y, and Z?
Right.
Because this is how I do it. Is this how you guys
Which is a world,
do it,
then that's what we're talking about, where it's a world like you may not know. It's like, you know, I don't know taxes. I'm not going to, you know, but if I wanted to get some info on it, maybe I'd ask the person about it. That's a different, totally.
Having the conversation, very important.
Yeah.
In that, with this, like, are you wanting to stick in the direction of these, you know, awesome dating shows and different love things, or do you have like also other goals to like work on different types of projects, like movies or film or?
No, I think when I first started YouTube, like that was the goal. Like I want to write like a rom-com or something, like a scary movie or something like that. Or work in like traditional media. I think I kind of realized what I'm good at and what makes me happy. So at first, like, that's what the goal was. But I feel like now I do want to focus on dating and like friendships, and just I think that's, to me, I like seeing like interpersonal, like a will they won't they situation. You know, friends just like having a conversation, like seeing people kind of like, you know, asking them questions they might not normally get asked, and like see where that conversation goes. Like sometimes when I'm filming a sketch, or sorry, not a sketch, a video, like I just did like essentially best friends versus best friends.
Right.
And I'll ask them different questions, and sometimes I'm like, okay, this isn't where I wanted to go, but let me switch up the question. And then I'll see like a good moment. I'm like, yes, that was like the moment I needed.
Like that human experience stuff.
Yeah, I think like that interpersonal is like, I feel like at the end of the day, is like the most interesting, you know?
Right.
People love seeing love. People love seeing like even like love between friends. Even just like strangers, see how well they connect or how well they don't. I think to me that's super interesting. So I do want to stay in that realm of like, you know, that.
I think you're not the only one either, because other people they thrive off of those people's connection.
Well, and this is funny because a few episodes back we were talking about like the pandemic stuff and how that changed our consumption of media, but also the type of media we want to consume. I feel like we were so separated from people that we started falling in love even more with that human connection stuff. More like, I don't think we cared as much, and when it came to what we were consuming, as much as like now, it's like we do want personal stories. We want to see people interact and everything. Which is, now that I mean know that since 2012, how have you seen the world in which you work in change, specifically like with the YouTube world and stuff, like the way people consume what they consume and everything? Like, do you feel like you guys had to go, well, we're either about to veer this way with them or veer this way? Did you guys have a moment when you're creating stuff, you started to see that downfall? You're like, we got to change something up.
Yeah, I mean, like I jumped in, like YouTube is constantly changing, right? So I jumped in and started doing YouTube when like it was like all comedy sketch for the most part. You know? Like, you know, Jimmy Tatro, Julian Smith, you know, just those type of guys, like Nigga Higa, like those guys were great. So, and then it became like pranks for a while, and like I was never about like pranks. I thought it was like cringe in the sense where like, one, I knew a lot of the people were doing like fake stuff, but then like two, like I just hate bothering people. You know, just like,
because some of those would just be like
just mean,
just so straight up mean.
And to like older people, I'm like, hey, that guy's just walking down the street. He could be having a bad day.
Yeah.
There's still a bunch of people that do that, and I hate it. yeah, and then it went to like vlogging, which I think was really great. You know,
Yeah.
that was when like I feel like a lot of people were like, people really want to connect with people. You know, like even us doing sketch, we would have conversations like, why is like vlogging blowing up right now? It's like, oh, it's what the reason is that people want to connect with people. People love getting to know the real you. Like in sketch comedy, you couldn't really do that. You're playing a character essentially.
And that's when like the influencer started, like the social influencer really started becoming a thing. Yeah.
And I thought that was great. I mean, I loved it personally. Personally for me, I thought it was cringe of me doing like this.
I feel
Like,
you.
guys, I'm here with my friends.
Yeah.
I loved it when like other people like
Right.
if I was in vlogs and like my friends doing stuff, like I was always like, ooh, let's go. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I was always down. But for me, like, I just hate putting people in situations they don't want to be. So not that like the people, my friends gave off that vibe, but I just wasn't going to risk whipping out a camera to get views for like
Right.
from my friends. And at the time still like I was like a smaller guy too, so I never wanted to make people feel like this person is using me for their views.
Right, which is probably like a tough
Like I'm okay
balancing
doing that
act.
now because
Yeah.
I'm at the top.
Yeah.
Of course I'm fucking using
Yeah,
it.
of course I'm using it. Yeah.
But I just
Put your sweet little ass in that video and let's get
Yeah,
to it.
exactly.
Right.
David's gonna be like, yo, can you stand right here for a second? Stand right
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Don't move.
Don't move. No, I just found it cringe, and I couldn't do it in public too. I don't know, like some
Oh,
people have the
dude.
balls. They, kudos
Yeah.
to them. I just couldn't do it. And then things went to like sit down videos,
Right.
like
Yep.
challenges, which was fun. Like I started doing those too. And those are so much easier to do. You just sat down with a friend, like, yo, should we do the chubby bunny? Sure.
Oh my
But
god,
in a
bro.
creative-
Around that time, you remember those warhead
I did that
challenges?
with
Yes.
The Star Warhead. I did that with Crawford actually. I never knew what it was to feel like I burned my taste buds off. My
Yeah,
tongue putting so many
sucks.
warheads. I didn't
Yeah.
taste food for 3 days.
Damn.
Yeah, that
Awful.
was.
Oh,
I remember
We're just
those
hurting
days.
ourselves for views.
Yeah,
Dude.
You didn't get a dime.
That's so
Yeah.
stupid.
Crawford owes you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you eat a Tide Pod at any point?
No,
Or you were
thank
too
God.
old
No,
at
no,
that
no,
point.
no,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
no. Those are the.
It's
Those
like I was
are.
smarter.
Yeah. He's like, "Pff, no.
I've
no.
evolved.
No,
Yeah, those see, like those were fun, but also like, I feel like at the time they weren't like fulfilling to me, at least. You know,
Yeah.
I came from I came from sketch, so that was like having an idea, creating it, and then like creating something new once you started filming,
Like
'cause
executing. Yeah.
improving and just doing stuff like that, and then like getting in the editing bay and putting it all together, and then like doing the chubby bunny challenge. It was like fun and like really funny, and like I enjoyed it, but also like it was one of those things where
It's like
and do-
stenciling
yeah.
an art or something.
yeah, don't get me wrong, like looking back now, like I have no idea why I even showed anyone my sketches. They're terrible. So dumb.
They gotta
But-
be bad to be good. That's like my favorite thing.
No,
is
they
like,
weren't even bad to be good, man. I'm telling you, they were bad. But like, showing like even, people that I cared about, like even girls that I was trying to get at, like, yo, check out this chubby bunny challenge.
Yeah.
Or like, when people are like, what do you do? YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, so you did the chubby bunny? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe don't look at that. So like I was struggling on like trying to figure out how can I make this, funny, but like also me, and like
Right.
do certain things. I started doing like Tinder takeovers, which I
Yeah.
thought were really fun.
Yeah.
I had my buddy Pablo and George, and they were like my team. And Pablo was like the super funny one that came up with the actually good pickup lines.
Right.
And then George was also someone like that, and he was like he was great at laughing.
Yeah, that's you
need
need someone
someone-
that can laugh.
yes.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a big laugher.
Yep.
Like I'll do one of these. I'm like,
You want to be laughed
that. Yes.
jokes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I don't know.
Not
I just.
at, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like some people laugh a lot, like and loud, and their laugh is contagious.
It's infectious,
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Like sometimes, like you ever heard Your Mom's House podcast? Sometimes I'll like watch that here and there, and there's like they have one person in the back booth who laughs at everything, and
Yeah.
his laugh is basically the only reason I listen, because if he starts laughing, I'll start laughing.
Yeah.
Like it's true.
Yeah, and then
need a
those
laugh
were
guy.
fun. And those were a little bit more fulfilling, at least,
Right.
And then I found Jubilee, and I saw that channel, and I was like, I can do that, but add a little bit of me in there.
Mm.
So yeah, I started doing stuff like that, and I feel like that was like a good was produced. It was a little bit more highly produce a little bit. You know, was exciting. I feel like I felt fulfilled. I thought they were funny. I was bringing my friends.
Right.
I was collaborating with people that I wanted to, and then the views were great.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So
of
that's
course.
also
a
big plus.
Well, people are always searching for love.
Yeah.
So, you know.
You searching for love?
I am. I haven't found my person.
Oh.
I need to go on one of your
Put a
shows.
little arrow.
Damn.
I know a great guy for you. His name's Dustin. I'm kidding.
That was great.
Sells cars, not houses.
Oh, man.
yeah.
Still salesman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Yeah, it's a big give and go, but I want to ask you guys some questions.
Oh,
man.
He wants to switch it up on
Ask
us.
us
Okay.
questions.
All right,
All right.
David.
No.
Do you guys like me?
Well, I'm glad I answered already. That was good.
No. We love you.
Yes, I thought
There
so.
we
I
go.
thought so.
Yes.
Wait, so you're an actor, right?
Yeah.
As an actor, how do you feel like where the industry is going? Because I feel like back in the day, you know, traditional media was like, you know, don't do YouTube. You want to be taken seriously. But now, you know, things are changing. You know, like a lot of people are creating podcasts from traditional media. You know, they see the value and the money in that. And now it's like you if you have a following, you have a bigger chance.
It's definitely like I feel like more than ever you have to be everything. You can't just be the actor. Like you have to be absolutely everything. You have to be like your social media manager. You have to pay attention to it. Can you just like stay off social media and it not be a part of your life? 100%. But with that, then you need to financially have something else supporting you if acting isn't supporting you or whatever. Like I think it's just like many other things. It's a tool now. Do I think
Right.
it's necessary? No. Do I think if you don't use it, you're hurting your circumstances? Again, that's I don't know, but it's like you don't. I think the tough part is people think, oh, I have to copy this. I have to be like you were saying, cringe, or I have to do. It's like I feel like you can approach it in a way that is still that still has synergy with what you do, but I definitely feel like it's a completely changed world. I mean, yeah, it was true. Like if you were a few years ago, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was gonna just add to it because I was gonna say like to the point of what David was saying. I think there is a phase of when the studios saw social media taking off, and they're like, oh well, let's just put these actors aside for a second.
Yeah, it's a business
and let's
model,
just
right?
book people that got 1 million plus followers, just
Right.
regardless of what it is. But I don't think they were really putting hand in hand together on something, and they're like, let's just book you for your followers. They didn't really say like, can you perform this role well?
Right.
Or it's like, okay, you got 2 million followers, but not only can you perform well, but how's the engagement?
Yeah.
And I don't think they were really looking at any of that. And obviously the talent is a big one too, because, you know, there's a lot of phenomenal actors that weren't booking jobs. And at the end of the day, that's, you know, that sucks.
Right.
Right. And then there's also projects, as you said, which they didn't really get the right people for the right roles, and a lot of things happened where the projects just ended up not doing so well.
Yeah, and I mean, look, and financially, it's a hard thing to dispute when it's like, okay, you could get a series regular, but unless you've been working for a while and you have a good agent or stuff, you're not going to get that like 65,000 episode series regular or something. You're not going to get that like right off the jump, and you would have to be insanely lucky or having to like that's just not going to happen. So, you know, and then like, let's say you do a 10 episode show, you do 65K, you net $650,000, but then you pay your business manager, you pay your lawyer, you pay your agent, and then you pay your manager. Okay. So now you're looking at like around 400 after all that's off the top.
400 bucks.
Yeah. 400,000 after like that's off the top. And then you pay your taxes, which will take half that. So then you have like that 200K you're sitting on, and that's after you've paid everyone. When in reality, it's like, okay, that's great. And then you don't even know if that show's going to go again. And you're still at the mercy of that, you know, show or whatever that is, or whatever the film is. And then you could argue with some people, it's like, yeah, but if you build your YouTube or something up like Spotify or, like your TikTok or anything like that, and you do blow up that way, you're in control. You're not really paying anyone unless you decide to go get, it's like, I can understand why some people are like, well, I'm going to go down this route financially or whatever, because it's like, it's going to make more sense. It's like, yeah, hell yeah. I totally see why when people do like a Netflix show, and it gets them like 2 million followers. Why they move away from acting and start using that 2 million followers? Because it's like, yeah, because they just made more in an ad deal or from their YouTube vlog channel. They just started from the YouTube monetization. Then they're gonna make like going into these auditions where you're paying them like little to nothing. It's like it has completely changed it. The one thing I will say though is there's still like a disparity, or there's still a difference between what it means to be social media famous and what it means to be TV or film famous. Like you will never look at like the People Choice Awards is a great example recently. Like there was all these TikToks about like so many people are like, why are these influencers at this People Choice Awards thing? Because it's like you have like real musicians like Billy and stuff like that, and then you have influencers, and I respect both. I'm not one of those that's like, oh, it's like they're creating stuff and people find them, but I think like I still think till this day, like a film star or a TV star is always going to be looked at different than like a social media star. It's a weird like.
Yeah. Do you think that's because like they don't put themselves out there like that? I feel like I was like actually having this conversation. Like there are actors that don't like, let's say, don't have a podcast, don't have a vlog. So like I actually don't know who they are and how they are really. So I feel like, does that make me believe what they do more on screen?
I think it's that, and then what I also think it is like it's just how we consume media too. Like YouTube, all this stuff, even if it's shot really nice, it still feels personable. You know, it still feels like it's like, except I don't know, it feels like this when you watch a story or watch YouTube or watch a TV or a show. It's like those are characters. They don't exist in the world we exist in. They just don't. Even though it's like, yeah, that was filmed on a backlot or stuff. When you watch a show, like, you're not watching The Walking Dead and seeing, like, Andrew Lincoln in them and thinking, like, oh, there also exists in this world. It's like, to you, that is Rick. Or, you know, Jenna Ortega is Wednesday Addams or whoever. Like, they are the character because that's a world that's not on Earth. Like, that is a created world. Social media and content, even if you're creating, like, skits and stuff, it's like, that's still, if it's consumed on, like, the phone, YouTube stuff, it's like, that's still in our world. So I think...
They were also built to be icons or idols rather than like inspirational creators. Like you have to think the way that they are built to be who they are is a lot different.
Do you think they tell people like, you know, like a Timothy Chalamet and all those people like, yeah, you shouldn't go on social media and like give your personality out too much?
I really don't know, because you have people like I think it at the end of the day, it depends on who you are and how you use it. Because I think that Ryan Reynolds is a great example. Huge social media following. He and Blake Lively are like idolized, love. Tom Holland, Zendaya, another example of like the world kind of knows them, kind of don't. They have a social media presence, but they're not like influencer stuff, and they're still seen as like actors, actresses. But it's like they have a good blend. You know what I mean? And then it's tough. Like it's so mixed these days that it's really like I don't even know what a celebrity is anymore. I mean, the idea of movie star I think is pretty dead. I think like you have like literally like Austin Butler, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Tom, like you have like that small group like Paul Mescal and stuff, like people like that. But the idea of like our generation of movie stars is I think it's so mixed. It's so hard to specify now, because it's like I know, for example, my niece and nephews and stuff are going to freak out more about Mr. Beast than they ever will about, like, if I saw, like, Brad Pitt or something. You know what I mean? I think, like,
I love Adley.
It's like you're going, like, what we consider a celebrity is just so different. Like, I don't even know. Like, so as an actor, it's like, I love doing it because I love playing characters. And I love, like, no other thing will let me, like, National Treasure, we got to hunt treasure and be on these immaculate sets with doing crazy.
You're a National Treasure?
Yeah, for Disney Plus. Yeah, we did it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, man, it was freaking awesome. And it's like,
amazing.
And then we got to, and like, there's no experience like being on set and being a character, and like, there's no experience like that. And like the stuff I've been lucky enough to do, like, dude, I remember the first time on Stargirl getting to play like a superhero. It was like the coolest shit I've ever done in my life, and like nothing reaches that. As far as like social media stuff, not like people can't reach that. I'm saying for me, it doesn't fill that void. And so for me, it's like, I don't know what the end game will look like when it comes to like celebrity or anything like that. But I know like will always be its own thing. I can't unless I write or create my own thing. Like for me, what it fulfills for me will always be my own thing. But I do love using social media as a tool to like get to know people, and then on the music side of things to utilize my music. But like the way it mixes with acting and stuff now, man, I have no idea. I don't think
That's
there's,
tough.
and I don't think it's fair to blame one person or the other. Be like, oh, well, you're an influencer now because you use it more. It's like it's just a tool. It's
Yeah.
I just see it as a
Common thread
tool.
in this
And if you
podcast.
wanna use it as a business model to like help yourself move forward and get to know people, great. Or if you want to like not use it because you're like, I don't associate with it. I am a thespian. I'm an actor. I'm plays.
Yeah.
That's all. Cool. I just don't think it's fair to like point fingers and be like, well, yeah, well, I do movies and stuff. I mean, you're known for social media, great, but I do my thing. It's like, I don't know. I don't know because I've seen art in both spectrums. I don't care.
Yeah.
I've seen people create art on both spectrums. So
I will
it's
say
like,
this too. I mean, there's a good chunk of the world that does use social media, but there's a good chunk of the world that doesn't.
yeah.
That's true.
So, depending on where you are and how you grow up and what's accessible to you,
Yeah.
you're looking at it from a whole different viewpoint. I think in LA, we're just so
We're in it.
accessible to
Yeah.
all forms of media and opportunity to step into different forms. And so sometimes it's a hard choice to make. I think it's like, okay, do I do this or this? But I think it's actually a beautiful thing because not one or the other, like they're all going to come together anyways. I feel like in this time, like even music as genres, I remember I would go into rooms and like, you have to have a genre or that's too old for you or that's too young for you.
Whoa.
And
yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? I'm just a creator. Like, I just want to
'Cause
buy music.
you've been doing it forever too.
Yeah.
I jumped into
so
it a little
little.
later. Yeah.
So like,
What
then,
did they tell you that you were too young for?
well, I was 14, and so I would write like pretty deep songs about love and different stuff, and they'd be like, "No, that's way too old for you," or like, "You have to have this genre," or like we talk sometimes about the fact that like production deals, so you'd work with one producer, and they would own that sound with you. And I'm not saying any of that is bad, but I feel like even in music now, I can tap into any genre I want, and I can make it me. Yeah. And I have the ability, I have the ability to cultivate that, to like push into the world in a whole different way. But on the other side of it, it's a lot more saturated. So like there's too many voices. So it's kind of like pros and cons of the world that we live in and how we navigate it.
Yeah, I feel like everything's oversaturated now too.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be an influencer. Everyone wants to be a musician.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, well, they've done polls where
A
it's
video
like,
gamer.
yeah, no one.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and the thing is, it's like it used to be such an unrealistic. Like you can't
Yeah,
do that. But
niche.
it's like,
Now anyone
dude,
can. With
honestly,
TikTok.
seriously, it's not hard for any. Well, I think that sums it up perfectly. Is that like, I think people have an association when it comes to social influence type of celebrity. Is it's like, well, I can do that. But when people see actors, that's what I was trying to get at. When people see actors and stuff, they're like, well, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like if you see, you know what I mean? Even though I'm not like, it's obvious, like creating YouTube, Mr. Beast, what you do, that is a skill. And no, you can't just do that. But because it's like, it's a thing that
There's
someone's
less doorkeeping.
Yeah, there's less
would
like,
say
so like
that.
I can do that. Like it's the same
more
with
the
TikTok. It's like
doorkeeping.
you could do a joke on the street in a viral video, and now that's your whole thing. And you can start getting paid by like Nestle to like do an ad for that. And now you're making like, I don't know, 100K every like few months because you're doing ads because you happen to like fall and do something funny on the street like last year and
I
people
want to
loved
be
it.
that guy.
Me
Dude,
too.
I know. Or that dude that was
Great.
riding a skateboard with Sunny D or whatever, like
yes.
you're back and like, and
Yeah,
that became his
awesome.
thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Our world's changing. So when these kids are like, yeah, I don't want to go to college, or why would I do this 9 to 5? I'd rather just try to be an influencer. It's like, dude, I don't know what it's gonna look
It'll
like.
be interesting to see how many kids stay in school.
Yeah.
Dude, yes.
That's-
Well, also,
That'll be-
school's going to change.
Oh yeah, for sure.
School is
Yeah.
definitely
I
changing.
think my high
It's
school
already
right now.
changing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
they
yeah,
offer like
yeah.
a social media
Yes.
Yeah.
class, and I'm like, that's fucking nuts.
I
Yeah.
said,
No
I said
way.
I said this the other day, where it's like you go into most colleges right now, and they have majors for video game streaming.
They have like algorithm
you go
studies.
into a class, you look at photos of college streaming classes, and it's like all the streaming equipment, and you just kind of sit there, and they have you set up your whole thing.
I will say, though, it is still behind because technically what they should be teaching is coding, how robotics, which some schools do, understanding. They have nature schools now, which is great. So like you're learning like how I can survive and my resources. Like there's so many things that are out of the system to
Right.
keep us behind the system.
Yeah, but
so
2 years from now, AI, I can just be like, make
That-
me Call of
that's
Duty,
yeah.
exactly.
but with
but you want to be a part of the like building AI because that's where the waves are going, or like getting to code those things. Like I don't know. I think that to have those skill sets, our skill sets and the way that our mind needs to shift is the languages we know, our network, the way that we understand survival.
With the direction Apple and Tesla's going now, we're gonna relive iRobot.
Oh yeah,
in real life.
Dude, I can't wait.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to be in a movie.
Full circle.
What movie would you guys want to be in if you guys could just experience it?
Oh,
Like you don't have to die or anything. Like you
like
just
in like the real world though, like not like to play a character, but like be in that world.
Yeah, be in that world, and if you die, you just come back here.
Oh,
but you can you
if
can
you die, you
experience
come back here.
To go experience it. Damn.
That's a
would
tough
you?
one. That's actually
Me?
Yeah.
You already pre-planned this question.
No, I did not.
Yeah,
but
you're our guest today, David.
Like,
What
you
would
could go
you
live
want?
in that world.
yeah, live in that world.
You said for like a day? Or,
No, I mean I don't know how far I was.
or literally until you die and then you just
No,
come back.
as long as you look. Stop.
I would like to-
someone. Just answer the question.
I would like to go to Jurassic World before all hell breaks loose.
That would be cool.
Like to actually go.
You know what that is?
That
That is kinda
would be
cool. Yeah.
insane.
You
Like-
might be able to
Yeah.
go there actually because
Like go
I
to
like
the
that.
actual park before they start eating people.
Got it.
Hopefully, like I'll be like the
put a
tester.
timer, you put a
Well,
timer.
just think of
Yeah.
all the people that went to the park before shit broke down. Like
Yeah,
there was a
yeah,
few
yeah,
days
yeah.
they had successful days, and those were great. It was
Yeah.
like the third day the dinosaurs got out. You know, those people at the first few times were going back just being like, "You guys gotta check this shit out." You know, it's like. You know, that's unfortunately people who get the 3-day pass got kind of fucked at the end, but like in the beginning, man, Jurassic World, 100%.
Yeah,
Those
that would be
people went at
kind
the
of
wrong
cool.
day.
Yeah,
I did want to like. At first, my first thought was like a zombie apocalypse, like
Right.
Walking.
I don't know.
Yeah.
why.
Brandon
I don't-
too.
That would be cool, but
Yeah, but
also
imagine
so fucking
dying.
tiring.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
walking
yeah, yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
It would be cool to see if I could survive. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It'd
yeah.
be like, dude, I was able to survive that for like a day.
yeah.
No,
Or
I
Game
know.
of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
The problem with the
Because
walking,
once
the
again,
problem
it's be
with-
tiring. Like, there's no like fucking TikTok.
Yeah,
Like,
but
what am I
also-
gonna be doing? Am I just
Ride
gonna
a
sit
dragon,
there?
bro.
Am I just gonna sit there and
if you're
shit?
alive to ride a
Yeah.
dragon.
What am I gonna do?
Dude.
You know. Also, the only person that flies a dragon is Khaleesi.
Yeah, fair enough. Also, it'd be so taxing
it's-
to be like the village hero, like in a Game of Thrones world. You'd be the
Yeah.
only dude. It's like, there's a fucking dragon. We need. You're like the guy to go do it. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
I was also gonna say too, because it's so funny that you said Walking Dead. That's the first thing I thought of, like in the good center. But then I started thinking, I'm like, yo, those guys live with some stress.
Oh,
every
bro,
day.
yeah. Are
Every
you
day I was
kidding?
like,
And they stink.
Dude,
I bet
oh,
you
they
they
stink.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they like. Well, wasn't that an episode where like Glenn only had a few condoms? Right? That was an episode, right?
I don't
Like
I
how
don't
they
know.
only
I don't
they were
know.
only able to like they're like, we got 5 and this has to last us till we die, basically.
See, he was so young. He didn't know about the pullout game.
Yeah,
He didn't know. Rick didn't teach him. Unrealistic father. I'm just
I don't
saying.
think that was his son.
it's one thing to be like, oh, they make out and then fade to black, or it's like, oh, there's the sheets rustling or something like that. Like those are different things.
Yes.
It's just like there's sometimes like if it's being done, it's typically for the audience. It's not because it's needed. Like let's
Or
like,
it's for
in
the
my
producers or the directors.
in my experience, yeah. Because I mean, I've also had situations where like
Very
you're in the middle of a scene and like the director's like telling you notes while you're in the middle of the scene. It's like can you move to your left? All right, can you actually like kiss their cheek? Okay, kiss up their neck. And you're just like, this is happening in the scene. You're being guided. It's like, dude, it is so.
Some
Again,
mechanics.
I think
it's
that
awkward.
it's pointless.
It's so interesting. Yeah, it's yeah.
What about your breaths and stuff?
Oh, I mean, gum, mints, everything. Yeah.
Do you ever do one of these? You're like, all right, action. You're like, 1 second.
I mean, dude, you're like
It's
chewing.
very different than
No,
like,
dude, we had
the
Listerine
show.
cups. No, we had Listerine cups.
I didn't know.
No, man, we had Listerine cups that
You
like you
did.
would take and then swish and spit out in between every take just to make sure like, and it's got to be
crazy.
different for every person.
I could never do it. So
You know?
that's why you're an actor. You're good.
Well, and it's also it's like that's a lot of reasons why people that like aren't in the industry won't date someone. They're like, I can't. I'm sorry, I couldn't see you do that. Like,
Do you like
couldn't-
dating someone in or out of the industry?
It just depends on the person. I love
That's
like,
a good question.
I love my human being to death, and they're in the industry, but I have also dated outside of it. I think as long as you date someone that understands it is all you need. Like I don't think you have to date someone in the industry. You know, like you see a lot of actors end up dating like writers or people in hair and makeup or people you know or grips or like all sorts of crew and stuff like you, or outside of the industry. It's just someone that gets it, because it's a very hard ask, because you know your life moving forward is always going to be like this. You know, it's like raising kids and just being located in one spot. It's like you have to tell your significant other, like we've talked about with the pod, like there's a huge chance I could get a show next month and I'm gone for 6 months. You know, it's like,
And I hope you do.
Me too, man. Thank
Then
you.
I'll come back.
Yeah.
Perfect. He'll ask how it went.
Sit in guest, and they'll be like,
With
we don't
more
need Jake
questions.
back. But yeah, man, it completely depends.
I don't think I could date a YouTuber or like an influencer. I just feel like I talk about it enough.
Yeah.
Like I love going to Grace and just talking about anything else. Like,
Yeah.
you know, she
Yeah.
she totally gets, like, that's what one of the reasons why I love her. Like,
Yeah.
she gets what I have to do. She gets that I have to like film with X, Y, and Z. Like I have to film with a bunch of women all the time.
Right,
you know,
right,
that
right,
are
right.
like, I guess, how do I word this where I don't get in trouble? Like
Desired?
by, other men, not me.
Yeah.
But they're pretty, and stuff, and she gets it. She's there for most of the shoots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like also like, when I get with my YouTube friends, we're talking analytics and stuff like that. And like I feel like I'm at the point where I'm like, let's just talk about something else.
It becomes more businessy. Yeah.
Yeah, even with like my YouTube friends now, I'm like, I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
What
just-
else is going on?
Yeah, what
Yeah.
else is going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah,
You
right,
still going
right.
through that breakup? That sucks.
No,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
I think I really appreciate Brandon too, because even he like is so confident and supportive of me, like traveling around the world or
Yeah,
like.
was that
spending
ever
my
like
thing.
an issue between you guys? Like, were you like?
I established it up front. I said, "Hey, this is what I do. If you love it."
To be
great."
honest, Kirsten didn't even really need to establish it. I'm like very I'm very comfortable and also open-minded. Like I grew up where it's like, loyalty goes a long way. So it's like if I'm committing to you, I'm committing to you. Like whether you're here or not, like you're my person. Like you
Yeah.
can be gone for a month.
And the boys
It
were
doesn't-
around, so anytime
Yeah.
she disappears, you'll finally see him wake up in group text all over.
Yeah.
No, it's
he's
true.
Like, he's like,
Yeah.
no,
He's
I'm
like, I'm
loyalty,
alive.
loyalty,
He's
loyalty.
like,
finally I
She's
get to
gone.
go.
He's like, who's coming
Well,
overnight?
Yeah,
Where am I
literally,
going
where are we
tonight?
drinking?
Let's all get together.
Yeah.
But yeah, with her
I'm more
trap
protective. than
Yeah.
he
with
is.
her
That's good.
traveling and doing her thing, I was like, it's at 12:30.
Like
She's
11.
like, hey babe, so I just finished studio, and I'm just gonna go have dinner with Dirty.
It was a typo.
I'm gonna go have dinner with Dirty.
We're rehashing this.
And I was like,
We're already
He's
like
really
an hour
consistent.
over, and we're bringing
a
this
guy
up
named
again.
Dirty?
Yeah.
It was this, I don't know. Maybe the
no,
artist
she said
is
it
named
was, she
Dirty.
said it was a typo, but it was funny. She does it to me pretty often.
What's his real name?
Ask her.
His real name's like Big Swingin' or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, that was it, definitely.
What
I
was
w-
it?
you
What
know,
was it?
I-
What was the autocorrect? Oh, we
no,
can't get.
Yeah.
Can't
But
go into names.
Moral of the story: nah, she does her thing. I do my thing. We feel pretty confident with one another.
Yeah, I see like some people like even, just in relationships where they're constantly asking like, they just really don't trust their partner, and I'm like, how are
Yeah.
you in this? You like,
Yeah.
Well, it's
you
a
just-
it's a big problem. Like you're literally setting yourself up for stressing 24/7.
yeah,
Dude,
and
I
then
couldn't.
And I'm like, you're making this person fall in love with you less while you're texting them 100 times
Yeah.
and asking where they are and stuff. Like, you don't ask Grace where she is, and I'm like, no, I feel like she's probably doing whatever she's gonna be doing anyways.
She's doing her thing.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
doing
I'll
her
see her
thing,
later.
and like I'll see her later, and like I was telling her actually, like when she goes out, she actually really doesn't text me at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
she-
yeah. Yeah.
But for me, I text her throughout like when
While
I'm-
you're out.
all the time, and I was telling her like this actually like comes from a me issue, or like a kind of like an issue that I had in the past with like an ex where when I was out, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be doing my own thing, like don't ask me to text you, kind of like. And I at the time I was younger, like
Yeah.
20 or something.
Sure.
I was like, I was stubborn, and like I felt like, but through that I realized I was making my partner insecure by doing that, and it was so unnecessary. And even though Grace isn't asking me to text her now, like I feel like I do it subconsciously because I want to make sure she knows that like she doesn't have anything to be insecure about.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like that. I feel
I think
like
that also
what-
brings up a good point, though. Is like usually if someone's saying those things, it's because there's something not being, what's the word, dealt with. So to bring up that stuff is actually an important thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we're all people. We all do things that aren't perfect.
Yeah.
And like we
don't
all,
know.
like, you know, except for Jake, he's perfect. But like,
I can see it.
I think even just
It's
being,
annoying.
it's
I hate you.
perfect,
They don't call when I
perfect.
hang at parks. That's all I know.
Yeah. But being in a relationship a long time in a marriage, like you grow together, right? And so you're learning new people every day.
Yeah.
And so in that, it's good to communicate those questions, not like
Yeah.
in a weird way where it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
where are you?
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah,
hey,
but you
like,
can still walk
you know,
your path with trust. You're
Yeah.
not gonna move
Yeah.
around like being
Yeah.
like you're not gonna move around in your day antsy because
Yeah,
you don't know what's going on
exactly.
with your
Yeah,
partner.
exactly.
Yeah.
I was telling her that too, where like, you know, she doesn't really text me and I just do text her, but it's more like, hey, yeah, we're here. What are you up to? Like, I'm bored, or like, oh my God, this is happening. So funny. And it's just like different. Like, I don't expect her to do that, but I do it. And
Yeah.
Right.
she was actually now I remember why we brought this up. It's because her friend is dating a guy who doesn't text all the time.
Oh.
So I was kind of telling her, I was like, you know what, like
It's the flip.
yeah, I was like, you know what, it's up to the person. Like, I text you because I want to,
Right, right.
you know, and I miss you, and like, you know, I also love to tell you the gossip. I tell people all the time now. I'm
Cheese
like,
man.
the cheese man, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they're like, David, I need to tell you something. I'm gonna tell Grace.
Yeah. Fair word. Yeah.
I'll
just so
probably
you know.
I'll probably tell her mid conversation, buddy.
Yeah.
You sure you're gonna tell me? Like, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. And I was like, you know, maybe he's just not that guy to text, like, because I do think that's a thing too. You know, like
Yeah, there's
some people are
that,
like
yeah.
enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like Grace is enjoying the moment. Like her phone is like the least.
Well,
Ever problems,
I
you know?
mean, like when Kirsten and I can go like a whole day without seeing each other, and then like let's say towards the end of the day, Kirsten will call me and wanna like we're on our way to see each other, and she'll call me and tell me her whole day and ask me about my whole day, and I'll sometimes I'll just be like, why don't we wait for this conversation to we're in
Yeah.
person? Because I've had so many conversations on the phone that I don't really want to conversate on the phone. I want to more be present in
Yeah.
person when I finally get to see you. Because if I tell you my whole day right now, then when I finally see you, well, we know what our day's been like already.
It's true.
So-
I love coming home and having like in bed. I'm like, what'd you do today?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
finally like telling each other versus
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
so I already know what you did today. So
Yeah.
Good night.
should we go back into your childhood trauma?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Maybe we could touch on
They're
that.
like chapter 3 on that.
Yeah.
So what did your dad say?
Yeah.
Chapter 3.
Yeah. Well,
But
I think
it's been a minute.
I think
so
we hit it.
All right,
I wanted to
I
say
think we should start this podcast now.
I think so. You're ready.
I got
You're
my
prepared.
glasses on.
I want some glasses.
no, we probably
Yeah.
got to get ready to cut it here. But David, I want to say thanks for coming on, brother.
dude, this has been amazing.
That was it, dude.
We
Let's do
appreciate
another
you.
hour.
Yeah, I know.
I'm in.
Yeah. Dude.
No, we appreciate you, brother, and your story.
No.
We're like,
Seriously.
no, it's
Another
time.
point
It's
that
time to
everyone's
get
just
out of
like,
here.
should we?
What's crazy
But, like,
about
we
that is
shouldn't.
yeah, man. Good talking.
No, I really appreciate you guys. Honestly, I'm gonna take these off.
You look good on you though. You look good.
I really appreciate you all. You know, you guys are great people. I just met you, but good time.
Yeah, good time. Yeah.
good
Hey,
time,
you're
good
pretty,
time,
pretty
good
good yourself, buddy.
Pretty
yeah, we
good.
should go check out a park sometime.
Dude, I'm down.
Okay,
Let's
yeah,
go
let's
watch a
do it.
movie. I'd love to pick your brain about just honestly, just film in general.
We can watch everything I've done a sex scene in, and you can ask me how it all went down.
There you go.
Thanks
Think
for
about
tuning
you.
in, guys. We love you guys.
Besos,
Don't forget,
te amo.
stay busy.
Yes.
Stay busy. Yeah.
busy, baby.